Hey people, Cariocekus here, back with another review. Looking at Trials of Mana. So it's a remake of a classic JRPG. The remake is published by Square Enix. Usually they do know how to make RPGs. If this review helped you out, do drop a like in the video. You can also subscribe for more reviews. You can also drop some feedback down in the comments. I also do stream over on Twitch, where I played through the game and a variety of other games as well. Links for that in the description down below. But let's jump into the review. Starting off with the most important bit, gameplay. It's an action JRPG. You start off by picking your main character and then your two party members. The party can't be changed after you pick them. You have light and heavy attacks. There is also a spell and inventory wheel for quick use during combat. Combat in the game is one of the weakest points in it. You will be doing the same 2 or 3 combos over and over again. It gets repetitive really fast. If you pay attention to the gameplay footage, you'll actually notice these combos that I'm talking about. The combat in this game needed to be flushed out a lot more to make it a lot more interesting. Each character has 8 classes, more on the last 2 in a bit. These give you some depth to the combat, but still it doesn't really help that much. With class 4 locked, and only after beating the game once do you get access to it. Classes 2 and 3 each unlock new class strikes, spells, and 1 new combo for each, with the 3rd class requiring a specific item. Class strikes are basically big flashy attacks that deal a lot of damage, and usually you can hit multiple enemies with it. The 2 new combos you get with class 2 and 3, these become your go-to combos that you will be spamming away until you actually beat the game. Resetting the classes is a pain though. You need a specific item just to reset the class, and these can be found in boxes somewhere around the world. This extra step to reset makes it a bit harder to try out the other options your character has. For example, me, I only found 1 class reset item during my playthrough of the main story. I did find more after I beat the game once, in the little extra bit after you finish it. There is no parrying, no counter attacks. The game revolves around dodging. Enemy attacks usually get big red circles. These ones are the ones you need to be actually focused on dodging. Bosses do look unique, but the fights felt simple. Dodge, attack, and repeat until it died. The game does give you some control over how your companions are going to fight, with how many items they use, how often they use their abilities and class strikes, but the AI does have some issues, mostly with poorly timed attacks or completely missing sometimes. A little pet peeve that I have with the game is you can't use items directly from your inventory. You had to place them on the quick wheel before you actually use them. This can get annoying since some of the items are actually one-time use, so you want to use it, then you have to go back and re-swap it all over again. The game keeps throwing money at items at you, with most items only really needed during boss fights, but you can probably get through the game without using that many. I ended up playing on normal and the game felt quite easy. Items felt unnecessary most of the time. Besides the straight up healing items, I ended up not using most of them. Music on this one is good. The game does give you some great tunes. The ones I got in both my initial zones were really fun and catchy. I ended up humming them when they came on. I ended up playing the game with the English voiceover instead of the original Japanese. Acting in the dub is good overall. Some parts do feel lacking, and some characters sound strange. Of course, you have the classical anime gasps and hus, which is a shame. They are a bit annoying, but anyone that watches anime or plays JRPGs should be expecting them. So visually they went for a full-on anime look on this. It suits it. The game looks bright and cheerful. The main issues I had with the graphic is the lack of options, because all you get is a frame and resolution option. That's it. There's nothing else in the options there. It's completely barren. Graphical options are almost non-existent in the game. If you are running an older graphic cards, please check the system requirements to see if you can actually run the game. I'm kind of disappointed with the dev team with how they handled this part of the game. I played this on the PC. It is something that has to be present. It's 2020, come on. So replayability. Why should I actually replay the game? Well, if you enjoyed your first playthrough, you can choose a different party. This will change parts of the story and some interactions, but the overall story will remain the same. There are also the different classes for each character. These change some of the abilities your character has. For example, Angela is a caster type while Duran is a warrior. I actually played with Duran as my main character. There's also a new game plus that lets you keep your items and level for another run. But realistically, your second playthrough you should actually focus on the characters you didn't use on your first run and actually see how the story changes. The story is straightforward. It is a bit predictable. It is explained very early what you are doing and why you are doing it. Classic JRPG, something happened, you have to go and save the world. Some story elements do change depending on your character, but the overall story remains the same. The characters you end up picking have different starts, but during the game they all end up meeting up together and joining the party. You do have the opportunity to play through the beginning of each of your party members when you first encounter them. After beating the game for the first time, you also unlock some more story content. This gets you class 4. After finishing this extra story, you also unlock the new game plus. This extra story doesn't really add that much to the main story. If you're a fan of JRPGs, I can see why you would want to try out the game, but before buying it, check out the demo to get a feel for the combat, because it is lacking. Combat needed a lot more attention, it gets repetitive fast, you will be doing the same combos over and over again, and even getting new classes does not change the way you fight that much. It just adds a new ability or two. The AI also has some issues with the poorly timed abilities and positioning, but you can customize how the party members fight to a certain degree. The story is also unfortunately predictable. This, with the lacking combat, I really can't recommend the game at full price. If you're a fan of JRPGs and you find the game on a sale, sure, go for it. But before you actually buy the game, do try out the demo. But yeah, that's it for my review of Trials of Mana. If this review actually helped you, do drop a like in the video. You can also subscribe for more reviews. If you have feedback, you can drop them in the comments down below. I also do stream over on Twitch, where I played for Trials of Mana and a few other games. Links for that in the video description down below. And as always, people, stay safe, drink your water, and thanks for watching.